What's going on, everybody? Non here. Happy Friday. So, I want to go through a couple interesting observations in the Pokemon market. Poketube is suicidal. Everybody's gloom and doom because the market is in its normal summer slump. Um, but there's some really, really interesting things going on here. And I think the first of which is we're about to get the second wave of Pitch Black booster boxes. They have arrived pretty much everywhere for distribution. The same with ETBs, the same with booster bundles. So by the end of next week, certainly the end of the week after, um, we are going to have 100% of all of the SKUs that are outstanding for the second wave. We also got the second wave of First Partner Series 2s. So we can now focus on 30th anniversary, which doesn't come out until September. And I think what's really, really interesting, I don't hear anybody talking about this, is Perfect Order came out in March. Chaos Rising came out in May, 2 months later. Pitch Black came out in July, 2 months later than that. So the print facility that prints the standard booster box sets, or the standard sets, I should say, has only had 2 months between sets, and they have now effectively caught up. Now, we have Deltarune. Deltarune does not come out until November 8th, I believe. So we now have August, September, October. We have 3.5, basically 4 months of time. So double the amount of print time that the Pokemon Company has had for the last 2 sets, which are Chaos Rising and Pitch Black. Obviously, they had more time for Perfect Order because you're coming off Phantasmal, which was the late November set, the Friday before Thanksgiving in 2025. So it's going to be interesting to see how much the print runs are up, and are we going to see a waived release like we have for the last 3? My guess is Deltarune is either not going to be waived, or if it's waived, there's going to be a bunch of product. Now, on the flip side, since we theoretically have twice the amount of print time, they could take this opportunity to print the shit out of items that they haven't reprinted in a while. Speaking of which, an interesting observation. In 2025 and the first part of 2026, we would see items hit big box. They'd sell at Target. They'd sell at Walmart. Most interestingly, in the summer of 2025 or spring, I think it was like May, June, right in between, we started getting a lot of 151 booster bundles that hit big box stores. And then about 8 weeks later, we had them hit distribution. So there's been this trend that's really been, I've been paying attention to it for 18 months, may have gone back a little bit more, but big box stores tend to get reprints first. So MJ and Excel, Target, Walmart. And then about 8 weeks after, 8, 9, 10 weeks after, that same product reprint hits distribution, and then it goes through the normal distribution chain. Now, for the last 6 weeks, we have seen Destined Rivals Elite Trainer boxes, and I can tell you guys without a shadow of a doubt, they are reprinting Destined Rivals booster packs as we speak in the same facility where they're printing the standard booster boxes. We have gotten Destined Rivals ETBs dropping every Wednesday on Walmart. And normally what happens with Walmart is you'll have a big drop 1 week, a moderate drop the second week, and then you'll have a drop like 3 weeks after, which is your returns and things like that. What we're seeing with Destined Rivals is we're now 5 or 6 weeks of them dropping, supposedly, according to some of the notification services, north of 50,000 ETBs per week. And obviously the impact of this, and we'll go up and take a look at it right now, has been a significant saturation of the market. So if we look at the overall chart, like a little middle finger, it's like, hey, Pokemon, fuck you. So this thing has gone up and gone parabolic, almost to 300, and now it's just plummeted. And, obviously there's a lot of them sold. But what's interesting is twofold. The first of which is we are a month past due for getting Destined Rivals ETBs at distribution. Now, if we were to get Destined Rivals ETBs and the market was $200, distribution would probably sell these between $130 and $150, and the price would be reasonably supported. Now, this change in behavior, and again, this is a little tinfoil hatty, I wonder if the Pokemon company isn't using this SKU, which is in high demand, to, I'll use the term poison the well a little bit. So to test how much product they need to push into the bot world of Walmart until all of the botters are saturated, they get to the point where nobody can sell the product anymore, nobody can move the product. This is a lot like what happened with Twilight and Surging Sparks ETB reprints last fall, late summer, early fall. Now, granted, that hit big box and then it came out to distribution in the same cadence that I had just mentioned, but they may be testing the overall market saturation to see how much of this product they can push through Walmart until it stops selling out. And the price of this product continues to plummet. The buy list for these has gone from $150 to $140 to like $100 now because there's so much product that's been bought off Walmart. Nobody wants to buy it. So if they continue to drop this next Wednesday and the Wednesday after, first of all, it's probably overkill. And the price of this is going to get smashed at some point. But it also gives them the opportunity to now sell this to distribution, where distribution can't start at $150 price point. If you're at $130, they're going to have to sell them for $70 or $80. So it's interesting to see what they're doing with so much product. And you know, by my back of the napkin math, again, according to some of the different notification services and folks in the know, there've been like 750,000 of these, if not a little bit more, sold through Walmart in the last month and a half, which is certainly outside of the ordinary. Now, 750,000 is like an ultra premium collection going to Sam's Club or going to Costco for release, not a reprint of something that's been out for a year. So again, they might be trying to poison the well and see if they can't burn the folks that are buying this and getting to the point where they're over levered, they can't sell it, and there's an all-out market crash because there's so much product getting dumped. They could also be using that mechanism to push the price down, knowing that they're going to also push this through distribution and kind of get the product back to normal. Now, obviously, they can only do it with one SKU, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. So you have an item like this, and again, it's worth paying attention to. Is it going to be a Walmart drop this coming Wednesday and then the Wednesday after? Because again, this is most likely going to be stuck here for 6 months, and then the product's going to dry up and things are going to move up again. And ultimately, this is going to be a $300, $400, $500 ETB in 3 years. It's just not going to be there today. So again, we have this capacity opening up in the printing facility that does the standard sets, and they do the majority of the reprints. We have this instance where this is a SKU that has been dropped in an extraordinary, unique amount of product through big box with nothing going through distribution, which is a significant departure from the normal cadence. And then again, we don't get Delta Rain until November, and we don't get 30th anniversary until September. So there is a big gap with a lot of print time going on here and not a whole lot of product that needs to get printed other than 30th anniversary, which, you know, little birdie tells me that they are tens of millions of packs behind. So I would pay attention to the Wave 2. I have a feeling that a lot of probably the later Wave 2 products, they're just going to get pushed out and they're going to get delayed. And maybe they just sent them all to Australia for just random ripping shippers to rip product 2 months early. But I digress. And then lastly, I've mentioned multiple times that there is a 7.5 set coming out. I do not have confirmation yet because it has not started printing, but My gut tells me, and the rumor is, it is going to be a Mega Evolutions tag team set. If that is the case, 30th anniversary is going to be insane. That set is going to keep the party going. And the other thing I do want to mention, so we keep talking about these small sets, which started with in November of 2025, Phantasmal, Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, Pitch Black, now Delta Rain. In my opinion, they're smaller sets because they're trying to catch up on the print runs. They also knew that they were going to need additional print time for 30th anniversary. So, in my opinion, as of now, with the data that we have in front of us, the small sets are probably relatively short term. We're probably going to go back to normal sets in 2027. I could be wrong. But it seems to me like, well, obviously smaller sets you can print faster, you can print more of, the collation is significantly quicker or significantly less complex, I should say. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. Moving to Magic, because probably nobody's going to watch the video this long. It's very, very interesting what Chris Cox said in his Q2 prepared remarks, the Q&A. It is very, very clear that they have significant print capacity challenges. Now, he has mentioned multiple times that 2027, they should unlock a large amount of capacity. I don't think there's any coincidence that that is when the new facility for Millennium Print Group opens. And we do know, as I've mentioned to you guys, that Millennium is printing Holiday Hobbit. They're also printing the Star Trek Collector Commanders. So it is highly likely that Wizards of the Coast incremental print capacity is directly correlated with the new facility from Millennium Print Group, because they are most likely going to start printing a lot of product there. So I thought that was a little ironic. Also, I think what's interesting is there was a leak today with a D&D/World of Warcraft crossover, which means that World of Warcraft is now a license with Hasbro. In Chris Cox's prepared remarks, he likened the IP of Magic the Gathering and said it was akin to Pokemon, EA Sports, World of Warcraft, and Minecraft. I don't think it is a coincidence that he mentioned World of Warcraft, which tells me that one of the Universes Beyond sets in 2027 is almost certainly going to be a World of Warcraft set. That also coincides with his comment about they are going to have a Universes Beyond set that is, I guess my term is near neighbor to Final Fantasy. I forget the exact term that he used. But yeah, I think that's probably a very, very strong, educated guess based on the hints on the earnings call. So I think that's interesting. Also, from a reprint perspective, given the print constraints, obviously we're seeing no play boxes come to market right now. I think a lot of it's going to come in Q4 because they need the revenue. But I think we can all be relatively confident that we're not going to see more Karlov, more OTJ, more Duskborn, and they are going to focus on the SKUs that they can print a lot of, get the biggest bang for the buck, which means they can print them more efficiently and dump the product on market, which is going to be your Final Fantasies, your Universes Beyond sets. He obviously made the comment that Universes Beyond sells almost 2 times the gross dollars that Universes Within sell. Whether the loudmouth, obnoxious, broke-ass Timmies are screaming about how they're not going to spend money on Universes Beyond, but they'll spend twice as much on Universes Within, which is fucking hilarious. So you have those sets. And then, what's going to be interesting is the early Universes Beyond sets and those licenses, and I have zero information on them. I'm not privy to any of that. presumably they will start to expire here. And I'm just curious if we're going to get some reprints of some of those before the end of the licenses. And I think I've told you guys that Fallout Commanders is on the reprint list. Fallout, I believe, was one of the first. Universes Beyond. Then you have, obviously, Assassin's Creed, Fallout, as I just mentioned, Doctor Who, Lord of the Rings, Warhammer. I might be forgetting one or two. But it's certainly worth paying attention to see if and what they hit here at the end of 2026. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for tonight. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join the Discord, and we'll talk soon.